I realized something really important about our family recently. And I never thought that this would be me, but we are not a big organization family. And for a long time, I thought something was wrong with us because of that. But I'm starting to really see it clearly. We're a family that thrives when we are known, not numbered. And once I saw it, I can't unsee it. This realization has completely changed how we look at schools, sports, and the environments we choose for our kids, and what we're willing to put up with. Hey, friends, welcome back to Struggle and Strength Moms Balancing It All with Nikki. Today's episode is deeply personal, and I think it's going to resonate with so many parents who feel frustrated, disappointed, or even guilty for questioning whether the environments their kids are in are actually serving them. And what are we really paying for, to be quite honest? When I say we're not a big organization family, this is what I'm actually meaning. Our kids do not thrive in places where they are just another name on a list. They do not thrive in environments where attention is divided so thin that no one is really seen. Where we are just paying to play. And if you pay, you play. But it's not necessarily because they want to develop you. It's because they just want the money. And it's really unfortunate the things that we're seeing over the course of the years. Now, I know when I grew up, let's talk real English here, Nick. I know when I grew up, we had like one organization in the town. We had one opportunity, and they actually took the time to help develop you, look at you. The kids were valued back then, but something's changed. And it's like all of a sudden, anything that is baby, wedding, or kid related, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a hefty price with not a lot of return. We've learned through trial and error that our kids do best when the class sizes are small, when the adults actually know their names, when they feel valued, when they feel like they belong. That's why we're leaning more towards smaller schools, classrooms with 12 kids or less, because our kids feel like they matter. And these big sports organizations, you're just another number. The coaches really don't take the time to develop you or figure out what the root cause is on why you're not growing and developing. They just take your money and it's like, okay, great, come back again next time. No, I think it's your job to figure out why my child is not doing well and keeping up with their peers, and what's the plan to move forward? What are we going to do about all of that? It's getting really frustrating. Let me talk about this weekend. My daughter and my husband drove over, I think it's almost 300 miles to go to a dive meet. And while we are part of an organization that's well known in our area and she's done fairly well, it's not because they've pushed her to do her best or that they're keeping up with pushing her to be competitive with dives with the rest of her peers. It's because she's been a really good diver and she's done well, except for this meet. And the thing is that the last meet, she got second place and third place. And this meet, she's now at 6th and 7th. Now, what's changed? Well, let me tell you. There's a couple kids in the organization that have gotten special treatment from last meet to this meet that she beat that now beat her. And so now they're doing brand new dives. They're getting extra attention. They're getting all this stuff at practice when she's just getting the status quo. And the reason being is because she's just a number. We never really complained. Although I haven't been very happy with the organization since we started. But who was I to speak out? I'm not a national diver. I did diving, which I don't remember a whole lot, but when I was a child, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what should be, should not be. All I know is that the girls that my daughter was diving with have now moved on. to bigger and better things. And she's still stuck doing these dinky dives and her coach doesn't do anything about it. Let's be honest. I know my daughter is a Tin Man and doesn't bend her knees and doesn't do well with her hurdle and doesn't get the height that the other girls get. Great. What can we do to fix that? Has anybody in the last 3 years addressed that? No, not once. But yet I'm still paying month after month, spending almost $1,000 every time we go to an out-of-town meet, let alone over the summertime, we spent 4 hours 3 times a day. Me and the 2 boys went and watched her for 4 hours 3 times a day over the summer, and never once did we learn a brand new dive. It's so frustrating and annoying because we're just a number. We're just money. That's it. On paper, the programs look amazing. But when you're inside of it, you're realizing that something is off. They give special treatment to a few, but the rest of them are just numbers. My daughter's not being pushed. She's not learning new dives. And some days she barely gets to dive at all because there's so many kids. They're all sharing the same board. She's not getting the special treatment that others are getting, that I don't know how they're getting that. And honestly, she's not even getting basic development. I was a coach for the last 7 years for soccer. And if something's not right, I'm continuously trying to fix it with the kid. Now, if the kid doesn't want to do it, okay, that's one thing. Then I talk to the parents. Hey, they're not getting this. The communication is rotten in kids' organizations. And I don't know if you know that, but most of it stinks. You can barely get a word or feedback or anything out of these coaches or organizations. It literally just makes you feel like it's just like, give me money and we just won't even show up because that's how we're being treated. We're just a number. It's just like schools. These schools are getting, at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they're getting so overpopulated. Teachers can't even do their job because all day long, all they're trying to do is correct and redirect. Can you imagine having 27 8-year-olds in a class and constantly you're like, don't touch that, don't touch her, don't punch that, don't eat that? I mean, seriously, no wonder the kids can't learn. We just went on a field trip this past week and it was like herding cattle. You have to constantly be like, where'd you go? Don't run off. Stay here. Make sure you guys are with each other. Don't touch that. Like, wash your hands. Like, you're constantly trying to battle. We only had 5 kids. I can't imagine being 2 adults, 5 kids, 2 adults. They have 27 kids and 1 teacher. That to me is outrageous. Going back to the diving, like our diving organization went to nationals and we brought over 30 kids. Our other local organizations brought a third of that to nationals. Think about the way the child feels if you have over 30 and like 3 coaches, or you have 10 and 3 coaches, or 1 coach, right? Like, there's a difference. And it's being really difficult these days because our kids are the ones that are hurt in this process. I don't want to tell my daughter, you did terrible this weekend. I want her to be proud of the way that she performed, but it's really difficult when she's been used to getting 6s and 7s on her dives, and now we're getting 4s and 5s. So what's happened in the last month? I don't know. But to me, I'm not seeing any progression. And it's obvious. She's not competitive. And it's not because she lacks the talent or the drive. It's because she isn't being developed. Her peers, they're getting more time on the trampoline. They're getting individualized direction on their form and their technique and all this. And her coach sits there and just says, blah, 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 whatever. The other ones are getting like hands-on technique. And that's the hardest thing as a parent, knowing that your child has potential, watching an environment fail to nurture it. And it just keeps hitting me. This is happening every single place that we're going. Our school, our soccer, our diving, every single big organization prioritizes volume over value. This happened actually several years ago, okay, when my daughter was, let's say, like 3, 4 years old probably, and we were going to a school. We loved the school. And then they got excited because they had the most enrollment they had ever had. But were they prepared for it? No. Did they want to take the money and go with it? You sure bet they did. And so what happened? They did. And it was the worst year. We actually ended up leaving that school within 2 months of the fall because they were way beyond what they should have been. The teacher was overwhelmed. It was a very bad environment. And guess what? I'm not going to put up with that. Not when I'm paying money, time, money, and value. And that's what it comes down to. And soccer has shown us the same thing. Big organizations, big fees, big promises. You're on the best team. Are we really? Because once you're in, you realize you're just another family paying dues. But then let me tell you, there's the opposite experience we've had recently. Our tennis, oh my goodness, our tennis experience was phenomenal. Our tennis coach is like a national huge champion down in, I think, like Brazil, Chile, some South American country. She's here in the United States. She's created her own program. She's small but tiny, small but feisty, and has a huge impact. Her whole entire purpose is to be there for the kids, grow and develop them. And she shows it every single time she shows up. She's there. She tells them, do this better, do this, shows them the technique, goes over it with every single child that is there. She knows exactly how they play, what's wrong. If something happens in the game, she comes over and she talks to the kid, gives them a pep talk, talks about things that happen. How could we do better? What should we have done? Takes the time. And my son, we just started doing futsal. My middle son is on the 20, I forget what age group they are, but anyways, he's on the boys futsal team. They won their league. And the owner of the league who created this in the town, he decided that instead of getting ribbons or trophies or nothing for the champions, do you know what he got them? He got them like Super Bowl rings because they won the league. I'm talking about these things are heavy. They are not cheap. They're incredible. He keeps his organization intentionally small. He's like, I can't have you come train on this night because I'm over full. I cannot. He wants to be able to develop the kids, coach the kids, be there so that he knows that they are getting value. And not only does he coach them during practices, if he picks you to play on his futsal team, which he did with my son and my daughter, they play for free. You don't have to pay for the league. What organization is anything free these days? Nothing. Okay. I have to pay for my daughter's diving, her t-shirt, her swimsuit, her, even fees for them to go to the meets. The meets, I have to pay $10 per meet. So if she does the 1 meter and the 3 meter, I'm paying $20, or maybe it's $20 a meet. I don't know. It's $10 or $20 a meet just for the coach to even go there. Nothing is free in any of these kids' organizations, except for the ones that are small and are actually valuing their team. Because why? Because they care. Not because they have to. You think that he went out and got these championship rings because he had to do it? He didn't have to do anything. But he cared. He wanted to get the team excited. He brought them out in this box and like displayed it to the boys. You should have seen their eyes light up. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, I want one of those rings. My younger son was complaining. He's like, Mommy, I want a ring. Those kids were not numbers. They were seen. They were valued. And he showed his appreciation. That is what I'm talking about. We are not a big organization family anymore. And I never used to think, like, I am not a small business owner shopper because one, I don't really like shopping, but two, like I go to Sam's Club, Walmart, it's got my stuff and boom, there I am. But it has me thinking differently about the way that I'm approaching my kids, our family, and life in general. And maybe we are small business. Maybe we are a small organization. Because I'm not here to bash big organizations, but I am here because I appreciate value. And it's very hard when you're in the thick of things to understand things that you discover about your family. And it takes time. You know, my oldest is 10. It's taken me 10 years to realize what I will and will not put up with these days. And I will not put up with just being a number anymore. Do you know what really hit me hard? And I think about daily since 2 months ago when my daughter said it, is that when she went and sat in on this new school they're going to go to and came home, she said, Mommy, I want to go here because I really felt valued. I felt like I meant something to the class, that I was a part of the class. And it makes me feel so sad that she doesn't feel that way in her current school. If she's not feeling that way in her current school, which is overpopulated, what about her current soccer team or her current diving team, where it's the same thing? They're just pumping kids through, in and out, in and out. And I'm not saying big organizations are trash, okay? Different things for different people, different strokes for different folks is what I think they say. I'm just realizing that my family, my boys, my daughter, they thrive in small environments. They love to be valued, to show that they're worthy of being there. They love the attention and they are good kids. It's so good that the assistant principal came up to me the other day before we went to the field trip and said, I heard you guys are leaving. Is that true? And she was so upset. And all their teachers are so upset that they're leaving because they are good kids. But I'm not going to put up with them not feeling valued, them not getting what I'm paying for, them not getting what they deserve in life. And it's not because we're not giving it to them. It's because they're not getting the development and nurture that they should. And why is that? My observation is that these organizations are getting so large. They start small, and when they're small, they're fantastic, phenomenal, it's amazing. And when they start scaling, guess what happens? The quality goes down. And I see that very, very, very similar thing happen in business. Businesses that are small do well. When they start franchising or scaling, they lose track of their mission, their values, their purpose. And what happens? They don't do as well. People are not as satisfied. It's because they're not getting that customer experience that they did when the organization or the business was small. And there's nothing wrong with choosing environments where your kids are known, nurtured, and developed. Even if they're smaller, quieter, or less flashy, who cares? Because in the end, all we're trying to do is set up our kids for success in the future. And I have to keep reminding myself that. You know, when my daughter went this weekend to the dive meet, and I'm thinking, what's the big deal anyways? She's only 10. It's not like anybody that is 10 dives in the Olympics. Let's be honest. So why are we going so many times a week, paying all this money, not seeing any value, and killing ourselves to do it? I mean, every single day she has something. There's no downtime. There's no time for anything else. Diving, soccer, guitar, wash, rinse, repeat. But why? They're only 10, 9, and almost 8. Does it really matter right now? But here's the bottom line, is that how many of us feel like numbers too? At work, in corporate systems, in large organizations that take our time, energy, and expertise, but never truly see us as valuable. Just like our kids, we thrive when we are valued, not numbered. And that's why so many moms are feeling burnt out and disconnected. They're in systems that don't nurture them. We're in a society now where we are craving to be nurtured and seen. I don't watch the news, but I've only gathered glimpses and pieces of it. And I heard yesterday, I think it was, that there's been another school shooting. And I think I read, I don't even know who this person is. I think I read some, when my Bing or something popped open, there's some influencer or something that jumped or died or I don't know, committed suicide. Why is that? Because we're not seen, we're not feeling valued, we're not feeling worthy. So if you're questioning, mama, why are your kids not succeeding? Is it something that's going on in their school, on a team, or an organization? Are you feeling like they're not feeling like they're valued? If it feels like your child is disappearing instead of growing, or disappearing instead of thriving, it may be real that you're just in the wrong environment. So I challenge you to think back, really think about your family and where you thrive. Does your family thrive? And each individual might be different. All of mine are the same. They're all very, I wouldn't say shy. I mean, they're outgoing, but at the same time, like my daughter, she's not going to speak up. And that's one thing that we're finding is like in all of these organizations, if you are a loud child, if you are problematic, if you just go off and do whatever you want to do, sometimes you're being treated better than the others that are quiet because you're not outgoing, you're not motivated, not motivated, but you're not like the others that are outspoken, that are misbehaving, that are doing all that. They're like, who cares? I'm going to do what I want. My daughter stands up on the dive board and waits 5 minutes for the coach to be looking at her saying, go ahead and go, where other children are just going. Because she's a real follower and she doesn't want to jump off the board without somebody watching her and saying, yeah, go ahead, it's your turn. But the other kids that aren't doing that, and as they are jumping off the diving board, they're going on the trampoline, they're doing whatever they want, they're the ones getting ahead. And that's why we're not really thriving, because we are not like the ones that are going to misbehave or that are going to be outspoken and tell the coach, I want to do this. I wish my daughter did some of that. I keep telling her, you need to do these things too. But she's so good, she won't do those. And it's hurting her, not helping her, Because this day and age, if you don't fight for what you want or believe in, odds are you're not going to get it. And that's unfortunate because it's not like the old days anymore. There's so much at our fingertips, and if you don't take advantage of it, you're going to fall behind. So if this episode resonated, please share it with other parents who are questioning, are their kids really in the right place, really in the right organization? Ask yourself the same questions. Do you feel like you're just a number? And how can we fix this moving forward? Bring back value into those big organizations. You can be large as long as you maintain the quality and the value that the parents are expecting or your customers are expecting. Don't get so large that your quality drops. It's like watching Christmas movies. Elf is playing right now. And Walter, the guy that creates I think his name is Walter, the book, the dad of Elf. And he signed off on his book. It's a children's book and it's missing two of the pages. And he's like, I don't know, whatever, just pump it out, and then someone calls him on it. And then he gets in major trouble for it. It's like, nobody cares anymore. Just whatever, get it out, make the money, send me my check. And if you're an organization or you are a business and you're listening to this, please take note. Parents are frustrated. They're noticing. And if you think that people are leaving, maybe you should go back and evaluate what's going on and what you're supposed to be promising. Because this hasn't just happened in one or two organizations that my kids have done. It's been through their whole entire childhood. There's only been a couple, and I can count on my hand, less than 5 organizations, businesses, kids programs that we've really been happy with. The rest of them are literally just give me your money and go away because they don't care. So I beg you, please, for your kids' sake, go back and make sure they are in the right place that fosters their growth and development and nurtures them and values them. That's the biggest thing. Because you want your child to know that they're valued, that they're loved, and that if they do the right things, they're going to succeed. Thank you so much for listening to episode 51 of Struggle and Strength, Moms Balancing It All with Nikki. Until next time, choose spaces where you and your kids are known, valued, and seen.